Hey everybody, DeadHatz here, and today we're going to talk about my thoughts on Meet Your Maker 1 month later. For those of you who don't know, I made a video as soon as I played it the day it came out on my current thoughts of the game, and today we're just going to kind of talk about what problems have come up and what issues have been solved as far as since its release about a month ago. I will say, for me personally, the game has managed to still remain fun. Not as fun as it was in the initial week, but I won't say that it's not replayable and that I have pretty much gotten bored of it. I haven't, because usually I kind of play a game till it's pretty full. I feel like a lot of players don't feel the same, as the game has hemorrhaged a lot of players, at least on Steam charts. I'm not sure about the console numbers, but I know for Steam charts, the game drastically lost a lot of players. You know what? First, we're going to kind of go over what the game did right and what the game did wrong. Alright, so the game was fun at its lowest form, and complex and simple outposts both have their appeal. I feel like the game having 3 difficulties can really cater to the different sides of the player base. You know, for those who want more casual games, there's casual maps on normal, and then for those of you who want a challenge where you're dying over and over and over again, well, that's what Brutal's for. And yeah, so that part is played out pretty well, I think. I think that for the most part, most bases stay where they should reside. Every now and then you'll get a kill box that has made its way to dangerous. I don't think kill boxes should be banned. It's obvious that they're not popular with raiders, but they are with builders, and I just feel like those type of maps should definitely stay to brutal, as that better reflects their difficulty. But it has made their way to dangerous, so I feel like that could be worked on. But let's continue with the good. Base building was very fun. Many people were able to create very interesting base designs. A lot of people were able to create a lot of beautiful bases. Like, some of these bases look really nice. The other day I found a Mario pipe with a question mark box, and you know, maps like that are really stand out between the rest. Not to mention the people who are truly sadistic and have found some of the most evilest designs you can imagine. I think that aspect of the game I like very much, as the review said they love showing this off in the promotional footage, but it's true, it really does make you kind of feel like an evil villain the way you can have these traps set up. And then that's not the only thing. Building felt good, so did raiding. I feel like raiders really got that fluid motion. You know, it's not like Titanfall fluid, but it does feel really nice to go through a base, you know, jumping hookshot to hookshot if you're rushing, or, you know, kind of going slow and needing to dodge last second for a trap you may have not found. Being able to quickly react and quickly get out of the way of that always feels good. You know, close calls, it very much, it leaves you, even if you're standing from a trap that you didn't notice and it activates, you still have a good half second to get out of the way. And I feel like a slow, clunky movement system, you wouldn't have been able to get away with stuff like that. And for the most part, I think the idea of having a player-made, generated fun, where all the fun relies on the players, I think it definitely puts a lot of less stress on the developers. They can focus a lot more on bug fixes and adding content to the game. I think the model for the game is genius. They get the players to make the game, they give us the tools to make the game, and we play the game and make the game. And that's what we signed up for by buying the game. So it's not like the players, that's not them being lazy, it's just them being kind of smart. In the meantime, I think it really has helped them with maybe a couple bug fixes, and adding more content. But when I speak of content, let's see what issues have arisen over the past month. First up is kill boxes. I've already made 2 videos about this, so I'll try and keep this short. There are people who enjoy kill boxes. There's people who think that they should be removed from the game. I think my personal opinion on the matter is we should do a better job at making sure kill boxes end up in brutal and not dangerous. Kill boxes are extraordinarily difficult levels. They can be beaten most of the time, they can just feel impossible, or you'll have a lot of deaths racking up. And that's why I feel the important bit is getting them to brutal and not able to sneak their way into dangerous or normal maps. That way we're not limiting builders from making kill boxes, and the player base that likes kill boxes can just simply play in brutal, which they probably already were anyways if they enjoyed the kill box. And then plus removing the leaving penalty for a player that doesn't want to play kill boxes works out for the player as well. On the builder side of things, there's a couple things I've seen. I've seen a lot of builders complain about 2 things. Let's go over the main one, rushing. A lot of builders complain about the rushing playstyle, and this kind of has an opposite effect of kill boxes. Whereas the player base that enjoys making kill boxes, or the player base that enjoys playing against kill boxes is small, but the player base that makes kill boxes is big. Rushing is the other way around. Almost everyone likes rushing a base, and builders gonna have to make their bases with rushing in mind, but I know a lot of them don't like it. And the thing about it is, if the developers were to touch kill boxes, I'm sure majority of the player base would be happy about that. They'd be happy that they would edit that in some way. However, if the devs did something about rushing, I don't see that ending well for the devs, since it's so popular. As you know, rushing feels really good. If they try and make a change to it anyway to nerf it, it may not come across well with the player base. So I don't exactly have a fix in mind for that, but it is something that has been complained about, and I feel like may need to be addressed. But as far as balancing it, I have no idea. And number 3 is bugs in the game. For example, as the time of making this, there's a bug that lets traps see through double corrosive cubes. They're not supposed to do this. The devs have even said it's not supposed to do this. However, they said that like a week ago, and as far as I know, it still hasn't been patched. I mean, I played a game earlier today where traps were going through ceilings of double corrosive cubes, and that's not supposed to happen. And so that hasn't been fixed yet. I know they're working on it, and it must be one huge of an issue to fix, because they still haven't fixed it. But another bug, and this is my personal pet peeve, I hate this more than double corrosive cube, is whatever bug is making the game eat inputs is the most annoying thing in the world. It eats inputs, and before you say, DeadHatz, just get a new mouse, or it's your computer. I've played this game on my laptop, and my computer, and 3 different mice when I was testing to see if it was my mouse. The game eats inputs, and I know this is possible in a game because I played a game called Predecessor, very fun game, I recommend it. And me and my friends all had the issue of it eating inputs. You would click a button and your character would just not react to what you're doing. This doesn't happen with movement as much, but it does happen with shooting and slashing. There's been plenty of times where I turn to a trap, I click a button, and he's not shooting right away, and then I quickly go to click again, but by that time it's too late, I'm already dead to the trap. And it was especially frustrating when I was doing my 100 life challenge. But that is just one that is personally very annoying to me. It only happens with weapons from what I've seen, but I really hope they can fix that soon. And now the biggest issue of all is a lack of content. For me personally, I'm still very much entertained by the game, but that is not a popular sentiment, as majority of the player base has left with complaints about the subpar amounts of content in the game. I know a lot of the players feel that because of the lack of content, a lot of the bases can feel very samey. Even if it's not a kill box, there's a lot of trap placements that are very common. I've seen people call them combos, which is fine. Nothing's wrong with learning combos. It's just, it's leading to people getting bored of the game, and because of that, they leave the game. I think this will be fixed when this big update comes in June. And now this is going into my next discussion point: what can save Meet Your Maker? Because we know the game is hemorrhaging players. Number 1, more content. Obviously, I think that is the biggest issue of all. The player base agrees. And well, for that, I think we just got to kind of wait till Sector 1 June comes out. There's Sector 1 Dreadshore. It's looking like it's going to add a lot of stuff. Way bigger than that Hellscape Deco Pack. It's going to add like a new environment and a new deco pack, which is free for everyone, which I think is great because I'm getting tired of looking at the desert. But also, I know you can pay to unlock the new custodian, new weapon, new trap, new guard, along with different biolinks upgrades. Because I'm more excited for the new custodian, because those new perks that can combine into your favorite suit is going to be pretty cool. And of course, a cosmetic for those of you who like to pay for your games after you already paid for them. And I think that's nice because majority of the content can be unlocked in the game, which a lot of games don't do these days. So the fact that it will be accessible to everyone, and you kind of have to play the game to get the full experience, I think is perfect, because I encourage people to continue playing the game and making bases, which gives everyone more content. I think people forget that when they say lack of content, with a game that is kind of like this, some of that does fall on the players' shoulders. Not as much as the devs, of course, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's 100% up to the devs, to make the content, because who's making the bases? If you find a really fun base that's not a dev that made that, you want to thank the player for that. But I do think the tools for making bases are becoming clear how limited they are after a good month of playing these bases out. And the next one is balance. This is something that I haven't given too much entire thought to, but I've heard complaints from both sides. For example, Plasma Sentinels are extraordinarily broken. They don't damage their own traps, as you can see in this footage here. Their AoE does not kill enemies, which you can see also right here. And their AoE goes through bubble shields. Now, the projectile itself will get destroyed upon hitting the bubble shield. However, the bubble shield will not block out the AoE of the laser projectile if it hits right outside the bubble shield. Now half the bubble shield is unavailable because the actual AoE effect of it goes through that, which is a little crazy amount of value, seeing as it's also a 360-degree firing trap, and it costs as much as a bolt shot. I really think they need to look at this and either nerf the stuff that just makes it better than bolt shot in every way, mainly because it can see you in a room, it can fire at you, and it's going to be a lot more accurate than a bolt shot, because a bolt shot usually, unless you have Hunter, is firing one direction. They either need to balance it by nerfing everything else it can do, other than 360 obviously, because that's the whole point of using a Plasma Sentinel, or raise the price to be a bit more fair and balanced. The other one is the shield. I've seen a lot of players complain about the shield. I don't use it, so I can't say that I find it really broken. I've seen people raid my base and use it, and I do think it's a little crazy that you can kind of just walk through it. It is very much the meta weapon as of the current meta of the game. If you aren't running this, then you are at an automatic disadvantage to people who don't use it. Me personally, I don't like it because I like shooting and slashing. I don't find it that fun to use, but if you want to win maps, it's what you do. After I die 5 times, I'm equipping it because I know it'll be easier to win the map at that point. So I'm not sure how they would go about nerfing it. I've seen many suggestions, but me personally, I don't know how they can nerf it without pissing people off, which is the big point. I want them to be able to make these changes that will make everyone happy. If they do too much stuff that leans more to one side, people are going to get unhappy. But yeah, those are just 2 examples of stuff that I hear need the most balance. But, that's up to the devs to really kind of fix. Another one is more transparency. The devs have probably been aware about the corrosive cube. I would imagine probably a couple days before they actually put the announcement out. Now, I can't confirm that. I'm pulling that out of my ass. But I have a feeling they know about it and they could have said something sooner, because people were telling them about this for a while before they actually had an announcement about it. And another thing is their transparency on the ranking system. We know as of right now it is used for loot. We will get rewarded by June. So by the way, raise your rank as high as you can before the Sector 1 Dreadshore update comes out. And the fact of the matter is we don't know if it's ever going to be used for a leaderboard or anything. In which case, what's the point? Why, if you're only getting rewarded with this and it's not for a leaderboard, why does the rank system, so my hedgehog's acting up, even have the option to go down? Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. I don't think the ranking system should go down if there's no leaderboard to show it off to. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping we'll have to wait till after Sector 1 to see what the whole point of this ranking system is. And I wish they were more transparent about that. But that's pretty much all I have to say. This is my 1 month later thoughts. What do you guys think about Meet Your Maker 1 month later? Are you even still playing Meet Your Maker 1 month later? Or are you waiting for the big update content to drop? Do you think that there's anything the devs should nerf or buff to help balance it out? Are you even happy with your purchase 1 month out? Let me know in the comments. I'll be here. If you've watched my other two videos, you know I reply to comments. But yeah, subscribe, like, whatever.
Subscribe to DeadHatz or you'll die tomorrow.